So hey y'all, I'm back with another video. So tonight's video is yet again another Chioma Chats video podcast edition. So by the title, we're going to be talking about why it girls kind of fell off. This idea came to me when I was scrolling through social media and realizing there's a pattern of like 10 to 20 social media models or influencers or even celebrities that represent the it girl aesthetic. In the 90s and the 2000s, the term it girl revolutionized into representing teens and young women of different genres, backgrounds, and appeals that push the idea of desire to be like them, dress like them, follow their trends and styles, and oftentimes the girls didn't necessarily have any special talents tied to them. For example, one of the original it girls is Paris Hilton. Paris Hilton is a hotel heiress whose claim to fame is literally being rich and other things. However, Paris was very influential. Paris is pretty much a social phenomenon that didn't create the idea of an it girl, but gave a modern day millennial spin to the idea of being famous for being famous. In those days, a lot of times, it girls were the daughters or granddaughters of well-known wealthy families in music and entertainment. And during that era, the increased interest in showcasing the lives of the rich was in full gear. This sparked an interest from the general public to want to see glimpses of the lifestyles that were deemed glamorous, exclusive, and somewhat mysterious. In 2023, I would say one of the most relevant it girls is Lori Harvey. I feel like Lori Harvey kind of came out of nowhere, and although she is most known for dating the most attractive rappers, athletes, actors, and then some, her surge in relevance was definitely out of the blue. 5 years ago, nobody talked about Lori Harvey. Hell, even 3 years ago, nobody talked about Lori Harvey. But all of a sudden, she has become a social media phenomenon and garnered the title of an it girl due to the luxury of her mystique and obviously being attractive. Examples like Lori Harvey are definitely relevant in modern times, but I think the overall idea of being an it girl has definitely fallen off over the past decade. I can't really name that many it girls that have a lasting relevance at the moment, and I think there's a reason why. So I wanted to discuss this because it's something I've never talked about on my channel. I've broken this video down into 2 main talking points, so without further ado, let's get right into this video. So point number 1 is defining what makes an it girl. And I think it has 3 basic components: luxury, a mysterious quality, and desire. Breaking down those 3 points really puts those terms in unison to personify what an it girl truly is and always has been. The luxury aspect is them being seen in the most opulent light, from the fashion designer labels to sports cars, fancy and ritzy houses and properties. All of that falls under luxury. And like I said, back in the early 2000s, I feel like the demographic of teens and young women became obsessed with luxury, obsessed with knowing what it feels like to wake up every day and be pampered by a butler, a driver, a housekeeper, and people who basically wipe your ass for you. And more of that imagery was pushed into the media because luxury is something that the average person isn't accustomed to. It's seen as the 1% or the upper class or something that isn't easily obtainable. However, in 2023, I believe that luxury has become more attainable, not through traditional means, but through any means necessary. Growing up, the pressure to wear designer head to toe was not there for me. I didn't suffer going to high school and being clowned because I wasn't wearing a Gucci purse or I wasn't wearing a Mary jeans. Of course, there were pressures to follow designer, but it wasn't the super high-end designers. I mean, to me, Michael Kors was what was really popular when I was in high school, and I don't even think Michael Kors is that expensive in comparison to like Chanel. And most people were wearing True Religion jeans at maximum, which is nothing compared to the price of a Mary jeans. Honestly, I think we were wearing Hollister jeans, if anything. But like I said, luxury was what the it girls were pushing, and maybe not in a nonchalant way, but in a way that was effortless to them. The second component is a mysterious quality. An example of this is influencer Des Dior. I think she exemplifies what it means to be an it girl, as well as that mysterious quality about her. Nobody really knows that much about her, and I think it aids to her being seen as an it girl because people are nosy, like for real. People want to know how you have that je ne sais quoi and figure out the Krabby Patty secret formula to your ways. And that all comes from mystery. I think the quietest women have the most desire surrounding them because it's harder for people to answer who, what, when, where, and why. The it girl factor really thrives from silence truly being a virtue. Look at Beyonce. Nobody ever knows what she's really up to, how she feels about something, and the in and outs of her life. And that mystery keeps people intrigued, especially when they can't seem to find the answers to their speculation. The third and last component is desire. And I think desire is the most dangerous for good and bad reasons. It girls were like the original influencers. What they showcased was desired by so many girls looking to be like them, to have a glimpse of their lifestyles. So why I say it's dangerous for good and bad reasons is because on one hand, it's like having a desire to be like somebody can completely send you into a spell of obsessive compulsiveness where you don't recognize yourself, you don't have an identity, and you will do anything to meet the checkpoint of somebody else's life. The good side to it is that I think all celebrities have a desire, and for the people that can do it in a healthy way, that desire is really just admiring somebody. With all three of these things, it creates the it girl. But in 2023, I think the terminology of it girl has really changed, and that brings me to my next point. So point number 2 is why they fell off. I think simply said, it girls fell off because of social media influencers being the new it girls, and then within that, everybody is now an it girl. There used to be clear distinctions of the who's and the who's nots. These days, you can't really tell. I could literally go to a club in any city and see girls who look just as good, dressed just as well, whose hair is styled just as nice and neat as the girls on social media, as well as actual celebrities. And I'm not even sure if this is a good or bad thing, but in regards to having those it girls within this generation, I don't think that's what we have. We have influencers that are the it girls per se, but their appeal is different in the approach to what it used to be traditionally. Like I said in my monologue, it girls were usually family members, descendants, or ancestors of wealthy, well-known individuals in so many different industries like sports, entertainment, hospitality, or whatever. But nowadays, these girls are literally randoms. You could be a rapper baby mama, you could be a girl whose picture went viral, you could be someone who intentionally tried to make a social media following, you could be discovered in a third world country. Anybody could be an it girl. And when you look at that side of it, I really don't think that's bad because it does diversify the pot and give the average everyday girl that incentive that she too can be seen as important as people who may be out of her class. But I also think the side effect is that because everyone kind of looks the same, everyone kind of follows the same trends, and the social media influencers really aren't even trendsetters, everything is just super microwavable. To me personally, there's really no distinction between Jayda, Cheaves, and Fletcher, and all the rest. I do agree that all of them are it girls, and to me, I think they are more influencers than they are celebrities, but across the board, none of them really stick out for anything different. And I think that is why it girls have fallen off. When they were first coming out, they had this appeal to them that was different than the rest. And I'll even say the same thing about YouTube beauty influencers. Those original beauty gurus on YouTube were, to me, the most authentic representation of modern it girls because they used their own celebrity, their own distinctiveness, and their own will to promote themselves as unique and desirable. As time progressed and the industry grew, they formatted their own potion of the same 3 components that make an it girl: luxury, mystery, and desire. What spoiled that was the incentive of money. These girls making tens of thousands of dollars to promote products, and some of them started to act like their shit didn't stink. And not saying Jayda, Cheaves, and Fletcher, I'm just saying in general, as well as how easy it was for anybody to be seen as quote unquote that bitch. I believe in sharing wealth. It's not always money. It could be just the wealth of knowledge, and the fact that the average girl was able to mimic some of these OG YouTube beauty gurus and Instagram girls, it literally catapulted themselves into the same aesthetic and the same circles. And I'm really not against that, but it is the reason why we don't have those pinnacle it girls like we used to back in the day. I don't know if we as a society will ever revisit an era where the famous for being famous girls are what they used to be. I do agree that within the Black or urban community, figures like Jayda, Cheaves, and Fletcher have people on a chokehold within that regard, but I also feel like their relevance isn't burning out per se, but it isn't what it used to be. I feel like maybe 3 to 4 years ago, they were way more impressive and appealing than they are now, and I don't think it's because people necessarily lost interest. I think it's just because what they do is something that everyone is doing, and a lot of women have realized they too can do it. I think it girls are just another social group within society that occurs naturally because we as people like to place attractive and interesting people on a platform and have always done so. I mean, the Kardashians initially started off that way, and they built an empire off of being it girls when it was their era to do so. The modern day it girl has kind of been erased by the idea of an influencer, but so many people consider themselves influencers that I think the effectiveness of being an it girl doesn't really mean as much in 2023 like it did 20 years ago. So that is it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed. Please let me know your thoughts on my opinions down below. What do you think? What do you know? Let me know. If you haven't already, go stream my song Ballin'. It's been out for a whole year now, and the link is down below, so make sure you guys click it. And also, don't forget to follow me on all of my social media networks, and I will see y'all in my next video. Bye, y'all.
Your man told me I'm pressure. I'm too hot, stay out my desert. Humbling joints is my pleasure. I'm in the game and y'all just redshirt. New freestyle to your checklist. Pull it to your block like I play Tetris. Quiet hoe, let me finish my sentence. 10 that he see like I'm from Memphis. Going big like I'm from Texas. Life is being blessed in exes. Made that boy make me his bench press. Now he breathless. Green, white, green when I be reppin'. Nardo wickin' when we steppin'. Jerky niggas I'm rejectin'. Make me teach your ass a lesson. I'ma call him when I need some money. I ain't tryna wait. Mansion in the motherland, bitch. Leave it by the gate. My brother counting money up. My sis driving to get away. It's Queen Chioma trigger, cause you know I make it ricochet. Told y'all it's a ceremony. Every day a cabaret. Get out my way, I'm out the way. They say I'm out the ordinary. All my favorite cousins up, they round the way and on the way. Had to come to auntie house, cause last time I did 20 carats. I'ma call him when I need some money, I ain't tryna wait. Mansion in the motherland, bitch, leave it by the gate. Call my favorite cousins up, they round the way and on the way. Had to come to auntie house, cause last time I did 20K, yo. They don't know who they messin' with. I be where the blessings is, my pockets never deficit. You can't touch all this excellence, you gon' need a prerequisite. You gon' need some relevance, so cut it OT Genesis. Pat in the mail from my boys in Abuja. Thick, meaty, spicy, juicy, baby, call me Suya. I said 24/7, we stacking, racking. I'm a bad bitch, you fraction, lacking. Counting bread while he playing Madden. I'm in the building, bitch, what's happening? Queen Chioma, pure satisfaction. I'm really a vet, these joints need practice.